ties in nicely. That's more of a practical, tactical thing. Mine is more mindset. I think as entrepreneurs, we need to always be asking, what's the opportunity here? And when we ask that, it literally will bring our business and our life, in my opinion, to the next level. So has anyone heard, I've heard this story the last, like a handful of times in the last month or so. What's the opportunity here is basically the underlying message, but this story about the farmer, a son, and a bunch of neighbors. So there's a farmer, and one day he wakes up and he finds his horse ran away. So him and his son are like, shoot. And the neighbors are like, oh, this is terrible. This is the worst news ever. What are you going to do? This is horrible. What bad luck. And the farmer said, maybe so, maybe not. And then he wakes up the next day, and that horse that ran away brought home like 3 or 4 wild horses. So they're like, oh my gosh, we just quadrupled production. And the neighbors are like, you're so lucky. And the farmer said, maybe so, maybe not. And then when the son was trying to train the wild horses, one threw him off her back and he broke his leg. And they said, oh, what terrible luck you have. This is horrible. And he said, maybe so, maybe not. And then a few days later, the army comes walking through town. They're getting all the able-bodied males, and he wasn't able-bodied because of his leg. And they said, what great luck, your son is spared. So the message is, we always have to be asking, what's the opportunity? We are really quick as humans to stop and be like, this is terrible, or this is the best. We're always peak and valley, peak and valley, peak and valley. And here is a quote by Winston Churchill. John's dad painted a beautiful picture of Winston Churchill down here in the club, and it's in his book, if you look at page 25.
Not that book. Not that book.
But his dad painted it, and Winston Churchill actually visited this club. So if you go downstairs in that entry space, there's like a visitor book, and I think that's really cool because I love history. Anyway, Churchill says, a pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity, an optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. Now I'm speaking to a bunch of entrepreneurs. We are built different. And why? Because we literally look at opportunities. So for my business, I said, oh man, business owners are really having trouble grabbing social media and making it work for them. So I saw the obstacle, and instead of being like, sucks to be them, I capitalized and I became an opportunist. I jumped on the opportunity. So AI, we just talked about it. Funny story with my team, AI. So we've been using, some of my team have been using AI for a couple of years. And then AI became this big thing. Everyone's talking about ChatGPT. And this one girl's like, oh, there goes our job. I'm going to be fired soon. And I was like, why? Why are you going to get fired? Tell me. What have you been doing? Stealing? And then that's the next talk. And she's like, oh, just people are going to be using it. They don't need us anymore. I'm like, right? Well, we'll see. Maybe so, maybe not. It was like the farmer mentality. It could be the death of us, but it could be like a big launching point. And I was right. Fast forward a few months, the way we are using AI, and I tell this to everyone, it has made us superhuman. You cannot replace the human mind. You know how many neurons we had? I'm reading this textbook, and it's about like brains and murdering people and why that happens. We have billions and trillions of neurons connecting. A computer doesn't. They can't replace our creativity. What it does is make us incredibly efficient, effective. The research at our fingertips, it's wild. So this was a situation where, I see people, I talk to my competitors who are just more like peers than competitors, I'll name them competitors, and they're just like, oh my gosh, we're doomed. And it's funny to see the mindset. So this is just a really funny tactical example that's happened in the last little bit. So, but how do we approach things? Changes in technology, creative opportunities, competition coming to town. We are built different, so we ask, what's the opportunity here? Is this good? Is it bad? I can't tell you yet. Oops, I'm going backwards. All right, hold on. Before I get to that, our digital world moves so fast, and in all of our businesses, every aspect, I feel, has changed in the last like 10 years. Things are different now. And we have 2 ways to see it. We can be the neighbors, or we can be the farmer. And I suggest being the farmer because you will adapt really quickly. I don't want to go over too many things, but there are 2 benefits of opportunity seeking or being an opportunist, which has a bad connotation, but it is a good thing. Growth potential, seizing opportunities will open doors to significant growth. You just capitalize on it. And sometimes that means you're stopping, you're thinking, and you're wondering, how can I make this work for me? The other thing, and this is what I love about COVID, I talk about this all the time, competitive advantage. So our competitors are just people, and guess what? People are really more likely to be like the neighbors than the farmer. Trevor and I, so being proactive keeps you ahead of the competition. In 2020 March, like we're like loving life. We're like, we are going to have a great year this year. Boom, things get shut down. We took the 2 weeks off like we were supposed to. And then when the government's like, we're all shut down, we, instead of being like, this sucks, it's the worst year ever, we're like, what's the opportunity here? And we doubled down. We worked on our business, developing our vision. We have separate businesses, but we just both sat down and we're like, where do we want to go? How are we going to get there? Where's our vision? We developed on our business, because normally in life, it's like a billion phone calls, a billion emails, the pressure of life. COVID lifted that pressure. And instead of us putting our feet up and like relaxing with the beer, we doubled down. Fast forward, when things opened up again, we were already in that momentum. Like we were already full speed ahead. Where our competitors, it was like they were walking through mud. They just were slow moving. And I'm like, yeah, you rested. A body at rest stays at rest. So if you are the one who's jumping on opportunity or looking for opportunity, you will be better than everyone else. All right, this next slide, I get this reminder every year. You know how Facebook has reminders like, this is what happened on this date. This reminds me of my biggest failure, in my opinion, as a business owner. And every year it pisses me off, but also like reminds me to be smart. This is JD. That's Katie, that's Josh. They have this wildly huge YouTube channel. I would never waste my time on, but my kids love it. It's so funny. And we were walking through the airport. My daughter's like, oh, that's Katie. I'm like, who's Katie? She's like, she's a YouTuber I watch. I'm like, no way. We're in Michigan or like somewhere in Detroit. And I was like, maybe. So we went to the washroom, we walked out, and this monster of a guy, this picture doesn't show. I'm like, yes, he's a YouTuber. He was like the Hulk or like an Avenger. So she's like, oh, I'm like, go take a picture with them, go talk to them. So she was like, ah, that's embarrassing. I'm like, it's not embarrassing. You're gonna regret this, go. So we get the picture. Hours later, I'm on the airplane. I'm just thinking about my business. I was already in vacation mode, and I was like, I just met YouTubers. I'm pushing YouTube right now. Why did I not take a picture with them? And why didn't I say, hey, can you quickly do a 2-minute video on why YouTube changed your life? YouTube changed your life. Now we're, you know. And I was like, oh, it was such a reminder. And then lo and behold, 2 weeks ago, I am in Nashville at a mastermind. This girl I love. She's a Christian artist. I sing all her songs. She's like the best. This is my second time running into her at a hotel. What are the chances? What do I do every time? No, that's not her, is it? And so I was like, I think that's her. Don't be like last time when you just looked at her. Go talk to her. But she jumped in the car, and I didn't want to be like, hi. So I'm like, so what did I do? I literally hung out in the lobby. The whole like week I was there, I was just like walking, and the lobby people are like, why? What are you doing? I'm like, I'm hoping to run into someone because I know what I'm going to say this time. So it just reminds you to always take the opportunity. I did not. It was so sad. But I was like on her Instagram. I'm like, I know you're here. And then I asked the like people at the desk. They're like, we can't tell you that. I'm like, I knew it, but I just wondered. I was like, I didn't want to lose the opportunity. So they're like, 911. we have a situation here. So that is my presentation. I just want to remind us that there's always opportunity. And in a world where we don't have to be too quick to say it's a good thing or a bad thing. We can pause and say, maybe so, maybe not.